Welcome, all sports fans and everyone across the nation. This is another episode of Uneducated Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carlos Clayton, and today we're going to break down the feud that happened between coaches Noelle Quinn of the Seattle Storm and Christie Size, the coach of the Indiana Fever. It was right towards the end of a dominating fourth quarter victory for the Fever over the Storm, and I'm going to break down why this incident happened. Now, before I get started, when you hear the words petty, when you hear the words messy, those words do not contain to just females only, women only. No, there are a bunch of petty and messy men out there too in this world. I promise you, I know a lot of them. So when I use the word petty or messy, I'm not just talking about females. That's just what's going on in this situation or the WNBA as a whole, as a matter of fact, right? So Fever taking on the Storm. The Storm have mollywopped them in three straight games, pretty much 3-0 coming into game number 4 of the regular season. Well, the Fever get the best of them in this one. Caitlin Clark went off. Lexi Hall went off. We had Kelsey Mitchell go off. Leah Boston almost had a triple double. It was just a great time if you're a Fever fan. If you're a Storm fan, that's now two losses in a row to quote unquote inferior teams. So you got to kind of feel down if you're a Storm fan. Now, all that out the way, at the end of the game, about a minute and a half to go, the Storm are getting their butts handed to them. Noelle Quinn says, you know what? Let me take my starters out. But there was a reason why she took her starters off at this particular junction. When you think about being beat by almost 20 points, there's a minute and a half left. Now you take your starters out. I question, why would you do that so late, right? 20-point lead, a minute and a half to go. You can say, well, there was still a chance to come back. Oh, I know that. Trace McGrady with 13 points in 30 seconds. I know all about comebacks, right? I've seen it with my own eyes. Trace McGrady did that to the Spurs a long time ago, right? But here's the deal. You're down by 20 points. You take out your starters. Here's why. Folks don't know that Caitlin Clark, and here's the big thing. Caitlin Clark was one assist shy from having three straight 20 and 10 games, which is not only done by an WNBA player, but it's never been done by a WNBA player in history. Not just a rookie, but the history. No one has ever gotten 20 plus points and 10 plus assists three straight games in a row. And believe me, all you fact checkers that say, oh, they wouldn't have known that, people know. There are folks in your corner that says, yo, this chick, hey, do we really want her to break a record on us? Huh? Let's try and use a tactic to make them sit Caitlin Clark down. Here we go. And I guarantee you, Christie Sides knew as well. All right? Noelle Quinn calls that timeout. I'm taking all my starters out. Christie Sides says, nah, I'm going to keep my starters in. She damn sure knows that Caitlin Clark had one assist to go as well. Noelle Quinn looks at that. She's mad about that, right? So about another minute goes. Caitlin Clark, or about another 30 seconds goes. Clark is not going to get her last assist. So Christy Side says, you know what? I'm going to call timeout and now take my girls out with about a minute, maybe under a minute to go. And Noelle Quinn was livid. She went to Christy Sides, and I don't know the conversation word by word, but I can guarantee you she was like, yo, why you being so petty? Why, when I took my girls out, my starters, why didn't you do that? Now, for those saying there's a pact between coaches, you damn right. There is a pact between coaches, and which basically says the unwritten rule: when I take my starters out, I'm waving the white flag. I admit defeat right then and there. Christie Sides, as a winning head coach, she is supposed to take her starting five out. But there's also a wrinkle or a wrench in that pact. Here is that wrinkle. If I have a player that's about to reach a milestone or trying to reach a milestone, I, as the head coach who's winning, you, as a head coach who's losing, you have to respect that, right? I'm trying to get Caitlin Clark in the record books again, like she hasn't done enough. Oh, by the way, in this game, she broke the rookie single season record. For those saying, well, I mean, old girl from Sacramento did it in 30 games, a shortened season. Well, Caitlin Clark's on game 28. So put that into aspect, right? So there's a wrinkle. If my player is about to break a record, I will leave X player in there to try and break that record. I guarantee you. Here's my issue. If this was Diana Taurasi, if this was Asia Wilson, if this was Brianna Stewart, if this was anybody else with quote unquote clout to do that, there's not a peep about it. Not a word about it. There's been so much negativity towards Caitlin Clark, right? When it comes to the WNBA players, it is mind blowing to me how so many of these players you think from the outside looking in, they don't really like the girl. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm pretty sure from the inside out, they're all pretty cool, yada, yada, yada. It's just it's more like they're petty. Why are we letting this rookie come in this league and dominate? It doesn't make any sense. So, as the losing coach, take your ass whooping, go home, don't worry about it. Because last I saw, you took your starters out with a minute and a half to go. Why are they playing that longer than in the first place? That's my argument. Christie sides apologize. I don't know why. I'm not apologizing. I'm trying to get my star player in the record books once again. If you were doing your job right as a defense or a team, I wouldn't have my player in that position, right? No one really said anything too negative unless you are a Caitlin Clark stan, which on this channel we are not. But if you are a Caitlin Clark stan, you were upset at the fact that Angel Reese was trying to stat pad for her records, and that was in a losing effort. But it still wasn't that much noise. Now someone's trying to stat pad in a winning way. Oh, there's a bunch of nonsense. That's bad gamesmanship, right? No, stop that. Yes, I get the pack. Your players go out, my players go out too. You wave the white flag, but there goes that wrench. My player right here is trying to get into the record books. I'm telling you, I don't care who it is. It could be your greatest enemy, right? I'm a diehard New Orleans Saints fan. If the Atlanta Falcons, say Matt Ryan back in the day, if he was going for a record, right, against my favorite team, the New Orleans Saints, and we were losing that game, and he was getting those stats up, I'm happy for him. Try and get it. I'm not crying like, oh, you guys are beating us by 28 points, so take your guys out. That's not fair. No, stop them. Stop Caitlin Clark, right? That's my issue right there. I thought it was very messy. Oh, let's not even forget about Skylar Diggins Smith. Let's not forget about her. She was kind of the one that started the whole entire altercation. While Indiana was winning, whipping that ass, Caitlin Clark was getting her crowd, as she should do, getting the crowd fired up. Skylar Diggins with an obvious bump to Caitlin Clark, right? She just doesn't like the fact that they're getting beat. And that's the competitive side. I'm not mad at that at all. But that kind of sparked something. You know that her and her head coach talking about Diggins Smith and Noelle Quinn had a conversation about that. And then now Noelle Quinn is saying, you know what? I got to go ahead and show up for my player. So when you saw her criticize not only arguing with Noelle Quinn, but also arguing with Skylar Diggins Smith as well, you knew something was up. That's a lot of that pettiness, a lot of that messiness when it comes down to the WNBA brand when it comes down to their players versus Caitlin Clark. Now, you guys know me on this show. I am fair to the T. And when I say Caitlin Clark is sparking massive interest in the game of women's basketball, you better damn believe it. And when I say she is the obvious rookie of the year, you better damn believe it, she is. No one is moving the needle like Caitlin Clark is. I don't care. Look, I love Angel Reese to death, and she is a star in the making. And she's a hard worker, and she's a grinder, and she's gonna grind her way to a Hall of Fame career. Guarantee you that. But she ain't topping Caitlin Clark for rookie year at all. And matter of fact, Caitlin Clark is just on a whole nother stratosphere. And it feels like these women just either A, don't appreciate it, or B, don't care less about this figure. Mind you, this is a Iowa bred cornfield, skinny-ish, white woman dominating the game of the WNBA, which is majority African American. And so you look at that and you're like, whoa, Diana Taurasi had a little swag to her, right? No one was worried about that. She got swag to her. So no one really. Brianna Stewart, just a straight baller. She's big, her physical presence. But now you look at Caitlin Clark and just her motto, right? You're like, I can't believe that is what is moving the needle. But it is. And I get it. There's a time to appreciate if you are an athlete of the game, of the WBA, and there's a time to go ahead and try and bust up on the court when you see her. I get that. But these moments right here in between, this is where I kind of like, yo, chill out. What are we doing here? She's trying to break a record, 20 and 10, 20 points, 10 assists for 3 straight games. I want to say that would have been a WNBA record, or she would have tied it, I believe. She would have tied it. So I don't know about actually winning, beating the record, but she would at least tied it, I believe, to try and go for the fourth one in her next up and coming game. But the messiness has got to stop. Skylar Diggins-Smith, obviously not a big fan of Caitlin Clark and her trying to pump a crowd up. There's an obvious bump. But Caitlin Clark is taking it all in stride. Christie size, there was no need to apologize. Look, I'm trying to get my play in the record books. Sorry. What you gonna do? You want to fight me? Come on, I got the whole Indiana crowd on my side right now. You crazy. What's going on with that? Look, so much hate going towards this one woman. I promise you, if it was anybody else in that situation, Asia Wilson, who is the best player in the game, Brianna Stewart, if this was anybody else, let's flip the script and let's say it was Jewel Lloyd, who was the best player on the Seattle Storm. If she was going for that type of record, I promise you, Noelle Quinn would have had Jewel Lloyd in that game trying to break that record. And I promise you, Chris Siles probably wouldn't have said a word. She said, congratulations to that young woman for getting that history making, whatever she did, right? But just because it's Caitlin Clark, oh, it's an issue now. That's why you get mad at substitutions, right? Because I subbed about 45 seconds after you subbed. Man, miss me with that BS. Miss with all that. I love the Storm. Right now, they're having an incredible year. They're 17 and 10. I love the Fever having a balling second part of the year. I'm loving the storylines, and don't get it twisted. These instances are making us talk about it. So the WNBA is still winning more conversation about the WNBA. I love it. But let's be real, ladies. Petty, petty, petty. Ladies, messy, messy, messy. Let's stop being petty. Let's stop being messy. It's not just for ladies, though. We're just having a ladies' conversation. Because, like I said, men are probably even more messier than women, even more pettier than women. I've been there. I've seen it with my own eyes. Some petty, petty, messy, messy men out there. But in this case right now, the WNBA has got to learn that not only is Caitlin Clark a great player already in the league, she's also bringing eyes. She's also bringing notoriety. She's also bringing ratings. She's also bringing money, revenue to the sport. At some point, you got to say, damn, I respect Shawty. I got to respect her. Because if not, in a couple of years, when she's raising maybe multiple WNBA championships, I'm saying maybe. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but maybe. Just be ready for it. She's that damn good. And, man, just respect her, man. Stop all the hate. Please. Stop all the hate. But I love the game. WNBA is in a great place right now. It's getting stronger and bigger as it is. Let's just stop the pettiness. Let's stop the messiness. Let's just stop the hate for Caitlin Clark and learn to appreciate. Yo, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on your way out, on your way in. If you're watching this right now, appreciate the love and support, you guys. Check us out, man. For more content like that, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. My name is Carlos Clayton, and I am the creator of Uneducated Sports Talk. All sports fans, you guys know what time it is. Stay smart, stay uneducated. Peace. Love you, mama. Love you guys.